This is the RERIGHT Intelligence Briefing. Today, 10 stories shaping artificial intelligence and how they connect. India's Tata Consultancy Services is making a major bet on artificial intelligence. The IT services giant plans to hire up to 8,900 AI deployment engineers while actively seeking acquisitions in the AI sector. TCS aims to position itself competitively in the growing global demand for AI implementation and deployment services. The strategy signals how aggressively traditional IT firms are moving to capture the AI-driven economy. The question now is whether TCS can integrate this talent and these deals into a cohesive competitive advantage. Apple's self-driving car program never made it to market. But the technology built for it transformed how Apple designs AI chips. The project demanded processors that could handle artificial intelligence locally without relying on the cloud. The abandoned car became the blueprint for Apple's current AI hardware leadership. A failure that fueled innovation across an entire product ecosystem. Tata Consultancy Services is making a major bet on artificial intelligence. The Indian IT services giant plans to hire up to 8,900 AI deployment engineers and pursue strategic acquisitions. TCS aims to use deep client relationships to integrate and deploy AI systems rather than replace its core outsourcing business. The move signals TCS is positioning AI as a new growth engine alongside traditional services. The question now is whether these investments will help TCS capture emerging AI deployment opportunities. Artificial intelligence is transforming how pharmaceutical companies discover new drugs. Major biotech firms are deploying AI tools across their research laboratories to speed up development. But Wall Street remains skeptical, questioning whether the productivity gains justify higher stock valuations. The technology has arrived in the drug lab, but investor confidence lags behind. The question now is whether financial markets will eventually reward these AI investments with the returns they promise. As earnings season kicks off, the stock market is being reshaped by a new force. Technology stocks tied to artificial intelligence are now driving market performance more than energy stocks ever did. Investors are making valuation decisions based on companies' AI, capabilities, and spending plans. The shift reflects growing expectations that AI will reshape corporate profitability across industries. The question now is whether this AI-driven rally can sustain the market's momentum. DeepSeek just cut prices on its V4 Pro model by 75%. But lower costs are not translating to better margins for enterprise customers. Agent systems are consuming tokens at rates that far exceed the savings from cheaper pricing. The real problem is not price. It is the 100x scaling gap between token usage and cost reduction. The question now is whether enterprises can find a path to profitability when consumption grows faster than savings. Anthropic has announced an extension of Claude Fable 5 access across all paid plans. The company is keeping the feature available through July 19th. Claude Code's weekly rate limits will remain 50% higher than standard levels during the same period. Both moves were announced by Anthropic on X. The question now is whether these extended benefits will continue beyond mid-July. Meta's stock has had a brutal year, flat while the market climbed. That changed this week when Meta outlined to investors how it would recoup returns from artificial intelligence spending. The stock jumped 15% in its best week since early 2024, driven not by advertising but by renewed faith in AI strategy. The gain marks a dramatic reversal after months of investor skepticism about Meta's AI investments. Now the question is whether Meta can deliver on those promised returns. A Chinese AI pioneer is making a bold case for openness in frontier artificial intelligence. Jipu founder Tang Ji argues in an internal memo that frontier AI should stay broadly accessible rather than controlled by a few. His position contrasts sharply with China's typical regulatory stance on AI development and security. The founder's openness philosophy now faces the reality of his government's tighter control. The question remains whether Beijing will embrace or reject this call for open AI access. Tata Consultancy Services is restructuring its sales organization around artificial intelligence. TCS has announced a new dedicated unit called Autonomous Business Operations. The division will focus specifically on sales activities for autonomous business operations as part of TCS's AI-led transformation strategy. The move signals TCS's commitment to capturing growth in the autonomous enterprise technology market. The question now is whether this specialized approach will differentiate TCS in a competitive landscape. That's today's briefing. Explore every story and how they connect on the neural web at rewrite.io. This was Rewrite.